If old trees could talk, they wouldn't raise their voice. They'd whisper, low, slow, and wise, like a stream carving stone over centuries. The oldest tree alive today is more than 5,000 years old. It has seen empires rise and crumble into dust. It has stood through fire, flood, drought, and silence. And yet it never rushed, never panicked. It simply grew. This is the first lesson from a 500-year-old tree. Patience isn't passive. It's the quiet power of things moving forward, even when they seem still. Trees don't sprint, they anchor. Their roots stretch downward, inch by inch, seeking depth over speed. In our world of urgency, of deadlines and dopamine, the wisdom of trees reminds us not all growth is visible, not all change is loud. Every time you take a deep breath before reacting, you are being like the tree. Every moment you hold back from shouting, scrolling, quitting, you are practicing the life lessons trees teach us. The strongest trees don't grow fast, they grow deep, and so must we. Trees do not run from storms, they do not fight the wind, they bend, they sway, and they stay. If you've ever stood beneath an ancient tree during a storm, you've seen it, the stillness at the core even as the branches thrash wildly. This is the second great lesson. Stillness is not weakness, it is rooted resilience. While the world around you may tremble, with chaos, with noise, with urgency, you don't always need to act. You don't always need to respond. Like the tree, you can be still, present, anchored. The winds of life will come, grief, betrayal, failure, fear. But those who survive are not those who shout back. They are those who dig deeper into their roots. Trees don't escape the storm, they outlast it. And so, in the storm of life, remember this. You don't need to move fast. You don't need to fight everything. You need to hold your ground, quietly, fiercely. That is the wisdom of ancient trees. That is the strength in stillness. A tree grows for 100 years before anyone notices its shade. It stands through blistering summers, and yet when it finally stretches wide enough to protect another, it asks for nothing in return. This is the third lesson. Give without needing applause. The tree does not charge for the air it cleans. It does not demand thanks for the oxygen it breathes into our lungs. It does not seek fame for feeding birds and sheltering squirrels. It simply gives. In a world chasing followers, likes, recognition, let us be like trees, silent givers, rooted providers, unshaken by praise, unbothered by being overlooked. Because the greatest wisdom of nature is that it never brags about what it sustains. What if your legacy wasn't in being noticed, but in being needed, even if no one knew your name? The tree offers shade and moves on. When you cut through the trunk of an old tree, you see rings, not decorations, not design, but memories, written in silence. Every ring holds a year, a story, a drought, a flood, a fire, a peaceful spring. And the tree carries it all, silently, without forgetting. This is the fourth lesson from the ancient ones. Time writes on the body. And that's not a flaw, it's a truth. Our scars, our stretch marks, our wrinkles, they are not signs of damage. They are signs of having lived. Like the tree, you carry each year inside you. The thin rings of hard times, the wide rings of abundance, the dark rings of grief, the bright ones of joy. And like the tree, you keep growing. You don't shed your past. You grow around it. The wisdom of nature shows us nothing is wasted. Every experience becomes part of who you are. Layered, deep, beautifully complex. So next time you look at an old person, or at yourself, don't see age. See rings of memory. see strength that survived every season. The oldest trees stand tall not in spite of what they've endured, but because of it. Some years, a tree doesn't grow up. It grows inward, strengthening its core, thickening its bark, deepening its root. If you look from the outside, you might think nothing changed. But the tree knows. This is the fifth life lesson from the forest. Not all growth can be seen. Not all progress is visible. You might feel stuck. You might feel like nothing's moving forward, like everyone is leaping ahead while you're standing still. But like the tree, your roots may be growing deeper, your mind more still, your pain softening into wisdom. In those quiet years, in those long pauses, you are not failing, you are fortifying. Trees know this. They don't bloom all year, they don't show off every day, but they are always, always becoming. So if you're in a season where everything feels quiet, remember, your growth is not always loud. Like a tree in winter, you may look bare, but inside you are preparing to burst. When autumn comes, the tree doesn't beg its leaves to stay. It doesn't panic as they loosen and fall. It lets go. This is the sixth wisdom whispered by the forest. Letting go is not loss. It's nature. We hold on to what no longer serves us, people, pain, expectations, as if our lives depend on it. But the tree teaches us, you don't lose your strength when you release. You make room. The falling leaf is not a failure. It's a preparation for stillness, for rest, for rebirth. You cannot bloom forever. You cannot carry everything. There is power in release, in surrendering what once served you, but now weighs you down. The tree doesn't mourn each leaf. It honors the season and trusts the one to come, and so must we. Letting go is not the end of growth. It is the sacred beginning of peace. Trees never interrupt. They don't finish your sentences. They don't fill the silence with noise. And yet when you sit among them, you feel heard. This is the seventh lesson from ancient trees. Real wisdom doesn't always speak. Sometimes it listens. Our world rewards noise, hot takes, arguments, attention-seeking. But the forest teaches something older, deeper. Stillness can be louder than sound. A tree listens with its whole body, its roots to the soil, its leaves to the wind, its bark to the rain. It absorbs the world around it and responds slowly, thoughtfully, patiently. What if we did the same? What if we paused before reacting, sat with discomfort before fleeing it, heard what wasn't being said, instead of just waiting to reply? Nature's timeless wisdom is not in shouting louder. It's in understanding deeper. And that begins with silence. The tree has no passport, no itinerary, no exit strategy. It was born in one place and stayed. Through storms, fires, floods, the tree remained. And this is the eighth lesson from the quiet giants of the earth. There is strength in staying put. We are a restless species, always chasing the next thing. Job, city, goal, distraction. Always fleeing boredom, discomfort, difficulty. But the tree shows us, you don't need to run to grow. You need to root. Deep presence is more powerful than shallow movement. Trees grow tall because they grow down first, into the dark, into the hard, into the unseen. What if your greatest transformation isn't in moving forward, but in standing still long enough to know who who you are. The wisdom of the ancient forest is not speed, but presence. Not in finding new ground, but in knowing the one you're already on. You don't always need to go anywhere. Sometimes you just need to be there. Even when a tree dies, it continues to give. Its wood becomes shelter. Its body becomes soil. Its roots feed the ground. Its hollow trunk becomes a home for new life. This is the 9th lesson. Legacy is not what you keep. It's what you leave behind. We fear death. We resist it, avoid it, deny it. But the forest embraces it as part of the cycle. A fallen tree is not wasted. It is transformed. You too are building something every day, not in what you own, but in what you offer. There is no rush in the forest, no overnight success, no deadlines, no quarterly goals, just slow, patient, eternal becoming. This is the 10th lesson from ancient trees. Take your time. Nature does. The tallest trees you see, they spent decades as saplings, waiting for the light, holding through winters, strengthening slowly. In a world chasing instant results, this is radical wisdom. Slow is not broken. Slow is sacred. The fruit ripens when it's ready. The flower blooms on its own clock. The tree becomes itself by waiting. Your path is no different. You don't need to force your timeline. You don't need to rush healing, rush love, rush growth. You need to trust that becoming takes time. And time, as the forest knows, is not your enemy. It is your deepest ally. Its roots feed the ground. Its hollow trunk becomes a home for new life. This is the 9th lesson. Legacy is not what you keep. It's what you leave behind. We fear death. We resist it, avoid it, deny it. But the forest embraces it as part of the cycle. A fallen tree is not wasted. It is transformed. You too are building something every day, not in what you own, but in what you offer, teach, forgive, plant. Your presence, your patience, your kindness, these outlive the body. Trees don't worry about how they'll be remembered. They just serve. And when they fall, the earth remembers. Legacy isn't carved in stone. It grows in others. The forest reminds us, to live well is to die gently and give generously until the end. The bark of a tree is not armor. It's not hard because it's angry. It's textured because it's lived. Bark does not reject the world. It simply defines where the world ends and the tree begins. This is the 11th lesson whispered through wood. You can protect yourself without shutting down. So many of us build walls, emotional fortresses, coldness disguised as strength. But the tree shows us you can be soft inside and strong outside without being cruel. Bark cracks, bark heals, bark remembers. Not to live in the past, but to stay aware of the present. A tree doesn't wear armor. It grows what it needs as it needs it. Protection isn't panic, it's presence. The wisdom of nature says boundaries are not rejection, they are reverence. Like the bark, they say, I am here, this is who I am, and I will not be broken. Let your touch. They share water. They warn each other of insects. They pass nutrients from the strong to the weak. The forest is not a collection of trees. It is a single living network. This is the 12th lesson from the ancient ones. You were never meant to grow alone. Somewhere along the way, we were told to be self-made, independent, isolated, untouchable. But the forest knows life is interwoven. Roots overlap, shadows merge, winds carry pollen far. What happens to one affects all. The dying tree becomes food for the young. The mother tree sends sugar to the struggling sapling. The elders hold the soil so the youth don't wash away. This is community. This is quiet connection. You are not weak for needing help. You are wise. Even the strongest oak stands because of unseen hands below the dirt. The forest forgets no one, and neither should we. The tree never curses the storm. It never scorns the wind. It never compares its branches to the willow beside it. It simply is. This is the 13th truth rooted in the still forest. Judgment is noise. Acceptance is peace. How often we waste our energy judging others, their choices, their pace, their shape, their style. But in the forest, the pine never insults the birch, the maple never mocks the fern, the ancient oak does not laugh at the sapling. Each grows as it must, in the light it has, in the soil it was given. What if we stopped trying to fix everyone, and just grew beside them? Trees remind us the world doesn't need your control, it needs your compassion. Wisdom doesn't come from being right, it comes from being rooted in love, and letting others grow in their own way. Some trees never bear fruit, and yet they are not failures. They provide shade, they hold the hillside, they shelter owls and soften wind. This is the 14th lesson the forest sings. Your worth is not in what you produce. We live in a culture of metrics, numbers, outputs, efficiency. But the tree does not measure itself. It does not ask, was I productive today? It simply fulfills its being. Your value is not in how much you do, but in who you are when you do nothing. Like the evergreen in winter, or the tall cedar too high for harvest, you are allowed to just exist. Being is enough. Let go of the myth that you must always give, always prove, always be useful. Trees remind us, presence is purpose. You are not here to be efficient. You are here to be whole. The tree never forgets the rain, long after the storm has passed, long after the last drop sinks into the soil. Its roots remember the gift. This is the 15th truth from the ancient forest. Gratitude isn't loud, it's lasting. The tree does not celebrate the rain with fireworks. It simply holds it, stores it, lives from it. How often do we receive and forget? A kind word, a moment of peace, a hand held in silence. And yet, within days, we chase again. Trees remind us, you do not need more. You need to remember. The wisdom of nature is thankfulness without noise, deep, quiet, persistent appreciation. So when the next moment of grace arrives, a sunrise, a smile, a breath without pain, let it sink deep into your roots and never let it go. The wind pushes, the tree bends, and somehow, in that struggle, a sound is born. Leaves whisper, branches hum, a song that cannot exist without the wind. This is the 16th wisdom of trees. Even pressure can create beauty. We think struggle ruins us. But what if it reveals us? A life without resistance may be safe, but it is also silent. Like wind through pine, our adversity shapes our music. What you've been through, the loss, the waiting, the confusion, it hasn't broken you. It's taught you how to sing in a different key. This is emotional resilience. This is the forest's quiet song, and it is beautiful. Some nights the moon is the only witness. No applause, no crowd, just a glow on the bark, and a tree still growing. This is the 17th lesson. You don't need to be seen to be real. In a world obsessed with visibility, the forest shows us the dignity of quiet evolution. You can change when no one notices. You can heal in the dark. You can become in silence. The ancient trees did not wait to be validated. They just kept reaching upward, toward light only they could see. Let your becoming be sacred, whether or not the world watches. The moon sees you. That's enough. Some trees split from lightning, scarred, hollowed, broken, and yet they keep growing. This is the 18th truth from the wood. Broken does not mean finished. You may not look the way you once did. You may carry cracks, holes, lost branches, but the sap still flows. The leaves still return. The sky is still yours to reach for. Trees do not apologize for their scars. They wear them like stories. You are not less because of what hurt you. You are more because you kept going. That is the power of healing, and the proof is in the forest. Winter comes, and the forest sleeps. No shame, no guilt, no apology. This is the 19th lesson. Rest is not a pause from life. It is part of life. Trees do not bloom all year. They don't hustle through every season. They know when to slow down and when to simply be. You don't need to earn your rest. You don't need to prove your exhaustion. The timeless wisdom of nature says, stillness is not laziness. It's alignment. So take your winter, close your eyes, and trust that your next spring will come. If old trees could talk, they wouldn't give you answers. They'd give you presence, stillness, a place to sit and breathe. They would whisper the truths you already carry, that life isn't a race, that pain is not the end, that silence holds more than noise ever could. They'd remind you that deep roots matter more than tall branches, that healing isn't linear, and that legacy has nothing to do with likes. This is the final wisdom of the forest. Live gently, grow slowly, love deeply, leave quietly. The ancient trees have stood through war, wildfire, ice, and time, and still, they offer shade. Let your life be like that. Not loud, but lasting. Not perfect, but rooted. Not fast, but full. And when you feel lost, come back to the woods. Listen for the whisper. The trees are still speaking, and their wisdom
If old
is
trees
waiting
could talk, they wouldn't give
for
you
you.
answers.